Say hi, Mango. Yeah. Do sleepy time? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Fruity Studio. Today we are going to be doing an illustration using some Tombow Markers. So in the last video, I did mention that Fruity Studio, I generally draw animals, and I wanted to expand that a little bit more into something more like a everyday life drawing. And so that is what we're going to be doing today. We are actually going to be using some Tombow Markers, and these Tombow Markers, I want to tell you all that I am not sponsored by Tombow Markers, Tombow themselves. However, I've only started using Tombow Markers for 3 months ago, and I fell in love with it. And the reason I fell in love with it is because it comes with a good quality, about as good as alcohol markers. And one thing about alcohol markers that I didn't like was the fact that it is bleed through. So it bleeds through often. It can be a bit frustrating, especially when you don't want to buy too many papers for alcohol markers. That is to say though, it's not, the only comparison here is water-based marker versus alcohol markers. So if you don't know about Tombow Markers yet, Tombow Markers are water-based. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to the drawing camera so that you can start seeing the drawing come into life. Okay everyone, so we're here at the drawing picture here. Okay. So like I said here, I've only used Tombow Markers for the past 3 months, and the first that I got was a individually selected palette. And so I started off with a grayscale, and now I decided that I wanted to add more color to it to do my illustration. Like I said here, the Tombow Markers are water-based marker. They are not alcohol-based marker, but this one here kind of acts like alcohol marker, but at the same time it doesn't. And so what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be demonstrating them. This is not a review video, by the way. I do want to let you know that, because my intention is not to review a product, but to demonstrate to you how it works. And also, I am not a professional in every single medium, and so this is just a video for those of you who like or want to try out some Tombow Markers. So what we have here are my selected palettes. These aren't my first palette, but it is for the illustration that we are using today. What we're going to be drawing today are Turnip. And the reason I wanted to do Turnip is because Turnip, they actually have a bit of a gradient to them, which means it started off with some purple all the way down to ivory white. Now as you can see here, there is no purple. And I am not planning to get purple because I don't use that color as often. Unless I do, then I will use it. I also want to let you know here that please don't ignore the squirrel at the top. I will be drawing a squirrel sometime later. I'm going to get first started with. So Tombow Markers, like I said here, they're water-based. We want to start from light to darkest. And I've actually been testing out a few of these before. And so before this video here, I never really do it. So we're just going to start off with the shape of the vegetable. And this is not a perfect circle, guys. I do want to share that no one is perfect, and this year I am just coloring, adding some leaves to the turnip. I actually never had turnip before. I've had beet, I have radishes, but I haven't tried any radish, any turnip. Okay, so as you can see here, I already did block out some, just to have it in the picture. And one thing I want to do here is I'm just gonna mark a little bit of shape into it to add a little bit of, to help me practice with the dimension. So you see here, this is the shape of a turnip, and I'm trying to shade in the sphere. Now this is the undercolor of the turnip. It's a little bit yellow. When you use Tombow markers, these are a little bit just like a paintbrush, so you don't want to press it too hard. I didn't press mine too hard, but it feels like it. Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit. Whoopsie. I've been using this quite a bit to test out the thing. So we're not going to worry about the leaves yet. We're going to worry about this section here. What we're going to do is, I said here I don't have purple, but this is the color that I have here. It's a little bit of a coral, I think like a coral or something. Anyway, I have two of these colors. So I'm going to start off with this one. I don't know what's up with the focusing. Start off with this one. I'm going to start off with just blocking out. And be gentle and follow the line. And as you can see, this is not a straight line. This is a curve. So let me go ahead and talk about why I decided to go with Tombow markers compared to alcohol markers. I've always been frustrated with not being able to just pick and color a paper without it bleeding through. Now, I would not say that Tombow marker does not bleed through. It does, if you use too many layers. And one thing you want to be careful with these is, you know how you use alcohol markers and not alcohol marker, water-based marker, and it scratches off the top. Well, that happens with the Tombow markers, and it happens with a lot of water markers, which is why they throw me off. Like, I don't like water-based markers. However, I will give an exception to Tombow markers. This is where having a little bit more expensive product come in. And Tombows are actually, I want to make sure that this comes here. So Tombow markers are actually a Japanese brand. I'm just going in little patches because I just want to mark how I want these items to change. But as you can see here, I've already started blending a little bit. You can do a bit of a dark first and then blend in with the light. That works as well. Just one thing, you want to make sure that you're not over blending because that can cause the paper to rip a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the paper I'm using is the Bristol paper. This is actually not a marker pad. This is for whap. This is actually for more like color pencils and such. But markers work as well. You can see here it's starting to take a bit of shape. We're going to focus on more purple because the turnip is purple after all. And it doesn't bleed through. As you see, it doesn't bleed through. Yes, I'm using the same paper. I'm actually going to be copying it over to digitalize it. But okay. We're going to keep blending. Make sure, like I said again, don't blend it too hard. So, Tombow markers are actually, there we go. Yeah, so Tombow markers are actually very popular with the journaling community. And they are popular because they are great for lettering. I did buy Tombow marker expecting to do the same. And that's why I only have a little bit of Tombow markers instead of a whole set. And yet the whole set can be expensive. And with the 3-month ban, I was able to expand it to a more colorful palette. So I have here, this is looking more like a radish than a turnip. I see that. But that's okay. We are going to be using this color to make it purple. Now, I did mention I don't want to add purple to my palette. Try not to buy too many because it defeats the purpose of having a minimal setup for coloring. Here we go. I'm going to add a little bit of purple just to add some dimension to it. And a great thing about these here is you can leave it just like this instead of outlining it. I did do some outline, but I don't want to do it for this one because I do like how it turned out. This took a couple of tries, you all. This is not something that came up to me. And there I go, ruining it. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of green just to add some greeniness to it. It is the plant, right? Okay. Alright, y'all. So, that is the turnip portion. I'll blend this in a little bit. And now I'm going to add the last yellow. This is very light ivory-like color. I don't know the Tombow color system, by the way. So if you're looking to see some of a color system, do check out other Tombow videos. Right here, I'm just demonstrating to you how I like to do these little guys. Okay, so this here is the dimension. It's a little bit patchy right here, but I left it like that on purpose. I'm going to use this color here. There you go. Let's go ahead and blend that in with some green. And, you know, whenever you're trying out learning to draw in general, people like to start off with a circle. And yes, while that is beneficial, I feel like it is boring. And so this is a great exercise for you to, you know, have a finished drawing at the same time. So, that's here. Great. Okay, everyone. What do y'all think? The little mixture of colors. These are some colors I never thought I would use. And my weakness is color theory. I don't understand color theory, but I do know that red and blue make purple. And here I want to color this just a little bit. Now, as we start to get to the stem is like a celery. And so I'm going to start with a very light color and also this color. So even though this is a little bit more lighter than this one, I'm going to start with this one actually, because we already laid down the yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And also I do want to mention that you shouldn't wait for the Tombow Markers to dry. So this is already dried Tombow Markers. Now these are gonna extend to that one. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use this one just to add a little bit of white into it. Then we don't want it to be too muted. And I know what's even better is to be able to use a white ink to add some shine into it, which I probably would do, but not right now. And there we got it. Add a little bit of this green. And for some of you that are not using papers, like thinner paper, I recommend only doing 2 layers at most. And the reason being is that your paper can rip. So you should plan how you want to color the paper. But for this one, because this is an oil paper, I'm not too concerned about how many times I'm layering. But I do have to mention though that still you need to be cautious with it if you are planning on layering a lot. Okay, so there we have the stem. It has a little bit of dimension into it. And seeing here, I'm actually going to add a little bit of this green over here to make that dimension pop out. There we go. Okay. Alright, now we're going to move on to the leaves. So the leaf, I did test it out. I prefer using these two colors here. So I'm going to be using these two colors. I'm actually going to start with a little darker color, which will then expand into a lighter color. So we're going to do this a little messier at first. Now we're going to expand that. I'm going to make sure to blend it. You can see it's kind of blending a little bit. Okay. And now the last one, we're going to use this one. As you notice, I don't use this one as much because it's a very strong color. And my intention is not to make it into a strong color. Okay, so as you can see here, it's a little bit more bluish green than I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on with this one. Just adding this. There we go. Okay. So that's the leaves. I'm gonna go ahead and color the rest of them in without talking. So it's gonna be fast forwarded. I hope you all enjoy that, okay? I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go with this color. Yeah. Okay, so we got this part here, and now we're gonna use a little bit more of this one here. Okay. Just to add a little bit of a depth, I am gonna this one here without any of the layering green. Okay. Alright, y'all. So this here is the completed picture. As I mentioned, you may want to have outline, you may not want to have outline, but this is a style stuff. And so because of that, I'm going to go ahead and add the blue just to have a little shadow. And even more helpful, if you don't want to use outline, it's best to also use a gray tone color to create some shadows. That's where my monochrome one comes in. And there it goes. And there it goes. Alright, this is the gray I'm using. Let's add a little bit of oomph into the picture. Wow. Now I could feel here that the paper is getting to a limitation with the layering. As you can see, I did maybe 4 or 5 layers at most. So that's one for this type of paper. Now I'm gonna add in some this gray here. And it might be great to add a little bit of white for this section here, but I don't think I have anything that I could use. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna be using this the Winston & Newton ink. It's a very light wash with the with this one here. So that's what I'm gonna do. I wanted to add a little bit of highlight. Now there are people who use one of those jelly roll pens, but I don't like them, and so I'm just gonna use this for a very light. So I'm gonna figure out where I want the shadow to be, not the shadow, the light source. It'll be here. So it's not very bright. I didn't even dip it in there. There we go. Okay. Just add a very light source. There we go. And you can see it starts to look better right away. But if you don't want to, you can make this less. I'm going to use whatever I have left to put on the remaining. Not that I wanted to. There we go. Now, there. Look great. I do feel like the leaves are lacking just a little bit. So I am gonna add in some this green. I'm gonna use this green now. Okay, I want to focus on the leaves just a little bit. We're going to use this green here. Add a little more green to it. This is the darkest green that I have. Okay, and let's just to top it off, we're gonna blend it together. That way it doesn't look randomly put in there. Now, you want to be honest, I am still practicing leaves. Leaves are hard because there's so many gradients in them as well. So you want to try that out. That is going to be a future video. Not anytime soon, but it'll be one. If you're looking forward to that, consider subscribing to my channel. to see more drawing illustration. Okay, y'all. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. The image is completed.